is Anne Marie and I'm an environmental educator at the Lower Columbia Estuary Partnership. Today I'm at Sitton Elementary School to explore the way that this school decided to manage their stormwater runoff pollution. What do you think stormwater runoff pollution is? So to understand what stormwater runoff is, we need to investigate the way that rainfall acts on different surfaces in our environment. So to demonstrate, I have 3 different pots. This pot with the house represents any type of surface that's hard, like rooftops, the street, sidewalks, things like that. This pot represents any sort of surface that has exposed soil, kind of like a construction site. Then this pot represents any sort of surface that's vegetated, like a forest or a lawn. Let's go ahead and take a look to see what happens when it rains on this roof. What do you think will happen? Let's take a look. What do you notice? What's the water doing? That water did not soak into the roof, but it ran off. So we just created storm water runoff. And this roof is a surface that doesn't allow water to soak in, which means it's an impervious surface. Other examples of an impervious surface are roads, sidewalks, streets, and driveways.
Stormwater runoff becomes polluted when it picks up pet waste, fertilizers, motor oils, chemicals, and litter that's left on the ground and carries them into our storm drains and waterways.
Okay, so for our next pot, we're going to take a look at the bare soil pot. What do you think is going to happen when it rains on this surface? Let's take a look. So we see that the water is soaking through the pot, but that water is also really dirty. And because that water is soaking in, this means that this surface is called an impervious surface, which means that it allows water to soak in, not run off of it. So the last pot we have is our vegetated pot. Let's see what happens when it rains on this surface. What do you think will happen? So we saw that the water soaked right in, and that water that's coming out of it is much cleaner than the pot from before. Why do you think that is?
The roots help keep the soil in place, helping prevent erosion. These roots also act as filters, holding on to any pollutants such as gasoline, herbicides, and fertilizers that were picked up by the stormwater. Now, at your school, is the asphalt part of your playground pervious or impervious? It's impervious, which means that any rainfall that runs off the playground will enter into the stormwater drain, where it either gets directed into a water treatment plant or goes directly into the Columbia Slough, which then flows into the Willamette River, carrying along any pollutants it picked up along the way.
But no worries, your school, along with several other local organizations, figured out a stormwater runoff pollution solution. You may remember a lot of construction that was happening on the blacktop portion of your playground last year. Let's go take a look and see what happened over there.
If you've taken a walk around your school within the past few months, you may have noticed some things look a little different. What do you notice that's different here? Your school decided to remove some of the asphalt and replace it with trees and plants to build a rain garden. A rain garden is a bowl-shaped garden with native plants that collects and treats stormwater runoff from rooftops, driveways, sidewalks, parking lots, and streets. Some other benefits of rain gardens are that they reduce flooding by absorbing stormwater from impervious surfaces, they recharge groundwater by allowing water to soak into the ground, and they provide beneficial habitat for pollinators and for local wildlife. There were a few things that the landscape architect had to determine before creating a design for the rain garden. They measured the area of the impervious surface that would drain into the garden. They noticed how the land sloped to see where the water naturally directed to. This was definitely the funnest way to figure that out. They had to assess the soil to see how it drains water. After doing the math, they figured out how big the rain garden needed to be and designed the rain garden to be able to collect stormwater runoff from 7,000 square feet of impervious surface on your school playground. Next, we needed to remove that asphalt. Seems like a big job, but it wasn't too big for all of the community members who came out to this event hosted by DPAVE, where 3,000 square feet of asphalt was removed from the school playground. In its place, soil, mulch, and roughly 300 native plants and trees were planted. Plants that are able to withstand wet and dry conditions such as sluice sedge, spreading rush, Oregon grape, and many more were installed. Lastly, let's talk about maintenance. Rain gardens are typically designed to be low maintenance over time but may still need some tending to. Weed for the first few years. Over time, the plants that were installed will be able to outcompete the weeds. Spread more mulch when needed. A 2-inch layer should be good. And water plants during the summer months, but using native plants and drought-tolerant plants will reduce the need for more irrigation during this time. A rain garden is just one of the many stormwater runoff pollution solutions we can do. Maybe there's a place in the community where you can build one too. What are some other ways we can help protect our rivers and streams?